Hello. Hello. Due to a number of reasons, this game is unfortunately canceled. As a wrap up for the few people who were watching this, here is a rundown of the future of the campaign and the world, as every game influences the next campaign in this setting. The party would have traveled north, looking for where the false Hydra came from. This would have led them to an ancient wizard's tower. In the woods outside, they would have encountered strange outlines of people, did not react to them at all. Just passed through, were untouchable, and didn't seem to know they were there. Within the tower would have been a number of traps, both intentional and because of the age and damage to the tower. Arriving in the long-dead wizard's study, they would have found a number of preserved texts documenting his experiments and battles during the Mage War over 800 years ago. False Hydra was meant to devastate armies and steal knowledge. The images outside are bits of memory escaping the containment unit they were sent to when the owners were eaten. Finding and destroying this unit would have released the memories back into the world, restoring any the party or any other living person had lost. This would conclude the party's business with the new Merchant Lord Narshim. Even though everyone remembers Velkum now, Narshim is still the one who takes over his businesses and keeps them running. The group is paid handsomely and sent on their way. No longer having a driving need to stay together, the needs and wants of the individuals pull them apart. Genevieve Goodwin and her nephew Bartholomew, with the blessing and support of Lord Narshim, travel to the new northwestern border of Lassu and build an inn to welcome and support travelers, traders, and especially adventurers. Charlotte continued searching for clues as to what happened to her mother, who had disappeared many years ago. Despite her father's insistence that she had died, though they had no body to bury, she continued her search until it led her to a fairy ring and into the realm of the Fae. There she was led a merry chase by the inhabitants, until she found her way to a court where her mother served. Her mother, Yasilva, explained that she had bargained her service in exchange for Charlotte's power and a chance at greatness. Her father only knew that Yasilva had been taken by the Fae, and worried that the same would happen to his daughter if she went looking. He was right to worry, as the court was of winter and had now found a new toy. The monk Vaughn returned to the ruins of his temple and used the funds he had raised as a mercenary to rebuild the burned wreck. He gathered his scattered brothers, and soon the temple was active again, training a new generation of warriors in the ancient ways. While he thought fondly of his former companions, Vaughn was never much for adventure and had only joined to raise funds. He was content with his life, and at his passing a statue was commissioned and placed in one of the gardens. Skiffly wandered off to form a group he could lead rather than be a follower. While his general mistrust and lack of tact caused problems, he did manage a moderately successful mercenary company for several years before being grievously wounded in a skirmish in Pastoric. This forced his retirement, and he returned west to his homeland. Kaji was heavily tied to her criminal organization and was very happy there. She rose quickly in the ranks and was often trusted with carrying important messages to associated guilds in other cities, and making deals with new groups outside their purview. She spent much of her free time with the gnomes and earned herself quite a bit of coin. Eventually, Oris made her his second, which tied her down quite a bit more. But perhaps it is best not to speak of such business too openly. Cormag, bereft of his pack, wandered for a time before joining up with another group. His story with them is not yet told. Narshim was successful in his takeover of Velkum's properties and businesses. Though it had not happened how he had planned, this seems to be even better. To top it off, even though people's memories had returned, there was nothing in them to reveal he had encouraged Velkum to take a pleasant stroll through town that day. Soon enough, the land was tamed, and Lissu made him an official Lord Governor of this new territory. The gnomes were content for a time living under the new regime. Over time, this dwindled, and the old split re-emerged to tear the tribe apart, literally. Those who could not or would not stand for the intrusion of civilization upon their lives packed up and left, splitting friends and families. Those who stayed were of too small a number to maintain a proper village, and were eventually forced to leave their homes as well to reintegrate into the country their ancestors had walked away from so long ago. Those who left fared little better, trying to move and build a village in the monster-filled woods of the western wild is a huge undertaking. With certain skills having been left with those who stayed, they were forced from place to place as the homes they were trying to build were overrun time after time. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed your time watching. Have a good day. Until the next adventure.